Hello. Cynthia, darling, it's Daphne. Yes, are you alone? Hey, listen, I'm you-know-where. Yes, I did. No, he isn't awake yet. There's nobody about at all. No, in the spare room. But I've only just got up. I'm not dressed or anything. Look, I can't go on about it now. Somebody might come in. If anybody rings up from home, will you swear to say I spent the night with you? Darling, you promised. Well, in that case, say I'm in the bath or something. Of course, I can't wait to tell you. All right.
Morning.
What time is Mr. Essendine going to be called?
He will ring.
What time does he usually ring?
That depends what time he went to bed.
I'm afraid we were rather late last night. You see, we were at a party, and Mr. Essendine very kindly said he'd drive me home. Well, then I found I'd forgotten my latchkey. And I knew I shouldn't be able to make any of the servants here, because they sleep at the top of the house. So Mr. Essendine very sweetly said I could spend the night here. So I did.
If you were very late, he will probably sleep until the afternoon.
Oh, dear. Couldn't you call him?
Alas, no. We can never call him.
Do you think I could have some coffee or
I
orange
will
juice?
see.
Or something? Oh, good morning.
Good morning, miss.
Have you any idea what time Mr. Essendine will get up?
Oh, it might be any time. He didn't leave no note.
Well, couldn't you call him? It's nearly 11 o'clock.
The whole place goes up in smoke if we wake him by accident, let alone call him.
Well, do you think I could have some breakfast?
Well, now, miss, what would you fancy?
Well, some coffee, please,
Rightio,
and
miss.
some orange juice. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm Mr. Essendine's secretary. Is there anything I can do for you?
I'm afraid it's rather awkward. You see, Mr. Essendine drove me home last night from a party, and I idiotically forgot my latchkey. So Mr. Essendine very sweetly said I could spend the night here, in the spare room.
I hope you were warm enough.
Yes, quite, thank you.
It's liable to be a bit nippy in the spare room.
I kept the heater on.
Very sensible.
And now I was wondering if somebody could tell Mr. Essendine that I'm, well, here.
Well, I expect he'll remember when he wakes up.
Have you any idea when that'll be?
No, I'm afraid not. If he didn't leave any special time to be called, he might sleep on indefinitely.
I don't want to go away without saying goodbye and thanking him.
Yes, well, if I were you, I should have some breakfast and get dressed. If he's not awake by then, you can leave a message for him. Have you asked for some breakfast?
Yes, I think the man's bringing it.
Have you known Mr. Essendine long?
Well, no, not exactly. I mean, of course, I've known him for ages. I think he's absolutely wonderful. But we actually only met last night for the first time at Maureen Jarrett's party.
I see.
I think he's even more charming off the stage than on, don't you?
I can never quite make up my mind.
Have you been with him for a long while?
Just on 17 years.
How wonderful. I expect you must know him better than anybody.
Less intimately than some, but better than most.
Is he happy, do you think? I mean, really happy?
I don't believe I've ever asked him.
He has a sad look in his eyes every now and then.
Oh, you noticed that, did you?
We talked for hours last night. He told me all about his early struggles.
Did he by any chance mention that life was passing him by?
Yes. He did say something like that.
Oh, dear.
Why?
I just wondered.
I do hope you don't think it's awful of me spending the night here like this. I mean, it does look rather bad.
Well, really, Miss...
You Stillington. Daphne Stillington.
Miss Stillington. That's hardly any of my business, is it?
Well, I suppose not. Well, I wouldn't like you to think...
17 years is a long time, Miss Stillington. I gave up that kind of thinking in the spring of 1922.
I see.
Will you have it in here, miss, or in the bedroom?
In here, please.
I really think you'd be more comfortable in the bedroom. The studio becomes rather active around 11 o'clock. People call, you know, and the telephone rings.
Very well.
I'll let you know the moment he wakes up.
Thank you so much.
Now, you pop right back into bed, miss.
Is there any soap in that bathroom?
Yeah, but the tap's a bit funny. You have to go on turning it till kingdom come.
Did you tell her?
No, she'll find out for herself.
You better send Miss Erickson into her.
Well, she's gone to the grocer's, but I'll tell her when she gets back.
Were you here last night?
No, she's news to me.
Well, if he hasn't rung by 12, we better wake him.
Well, you know what happened last time.
Can't be helped. He's lunching out anyhow.
Well, if the balloon goes up, don't blame me.
I suppose it's of no interest to either of you that I've been wakened from a deep, deep sleep by everybody screaming like banshees. What's going on?
I've been talking to Miss Stillington.
Who the hell is Miss Stillington?
She's in the spare room.
I didn't ask where she was, Monica. I asked who she was.
Well, I suppose we could look her up in the telephone book.
She lost her latchkey, if you know what I mean.
Go away, Fred, and get me some coffee.
Rightio.
And don't say rightio.
Very good,
Thank you very much.
You met her at a party last night, brought her home here, told her all about your early struggles, and she stayed the night.
I remember now. Oh, she's a darling, and I'm mad about her. What did you say her name was?
Stillington, Daphne Stillington.
I knew it was Daphne, but I hadn't the faintest idea it was Stillington. How did she look to you?
Rested.
Oh, it's dreadful, isn't it? What are we to do?
She wants to say goodbye to you and to thank you.
Whatever for?
That, Gary dear, I'm in no position to say.
What, didn't you dare to get dressed quietly like a mouse and go home? You know perfectly well it's agony in here in the morning with you banging about and the telephone ringing.
You should have thought of that before you asked her to stay the night.
She had to stay the night. She'd lost her
The
latchkey.
sooner we turn that spare room into a library, the better.
She's probably sobbing her heart out.
Why don't you go and see?
Lend me a comb and I will...
There.
What a deplorable-looking object. Oh, God. I look 98. In 2 years from now, I'll be as bald as a coot, with rows of angry false teeth leering at me from a tumbler. Then perhaps you'll be sorry.
On the contrary, I shall be delighted. There will be fewer eager, gingerbread debutantes ready to lose their latchkeys for you when you have a toupee perched on the top of your head. And life will be a great deal simpler.
I shall never wear a toupee, Monica dear, however bald I get. Perhaps on the stage, a little front piece, but in life, never. I intend to grow old with distinction.
I'm sure that would be a great relief to all of us.
There's your sordid little coat.
Thank you. Now, do go and do a nice goodbye scene, there's a dear, and get rid of her as quickly as possible. We've got the mail to do. And Morris is coming at any minute. We can't have her littering up the place and getting in everybody's way.
I haven't done my exercises yet.
And do those after she's
I
gone.
can't go in there in my pajamas. It's like an
The
icebox.
heater's on. It's been on all night.
Very extravagant.
Mary, I thought I heard your voice.
My dear.
I'll be in the office if you want, Megan.
Thank you, Monica.
And you won't forget, will you, that at 11:45 Mr. Roderick is coming to discuss your special broadcast on the 17th?
No, Monica.
And that at 12 sharp Morris is coming to discuss the understudies that you're taking with you to Africa?
No, Monica.
And that at 12:30 you've given an appointment to Mr. Roland Moore?
I shall remember, Monica.
I'm so glad. Goodbye, Miss Stillington.
Goodbye.
I do hope we shall meet again.
You couldn't fail to meet her again. Darling.
Gary! Oh, Gary, I'm ridiculously happy.
I'm so glad.
Are you?
Happy? There's something awfully sad about happiness, isn't there?
What a funny thing to say.
That wasn't meant to be funny.
Don't you trust me?
Trust you? Of course I trust you. Why on earth shouldn't I?
I've been in love with you for such a long time.
No, don't say that, Daphne.
Why, what's the matter?
Don't love me too much, Daphne. Promise me you won't. No good can come of loving anyone like me. I am not worthy of it. Really, I'm not.
You're more worthy of it than anyone in the world.
Foolish child.
I'm not a child. I'm 24.
24. 24. If only I were younger, if only you were older.
What does age matter when people love each other?
Look at me, Daphne. Look at me kindly, clearly, and honestly. Look at the lines on my face. Look at my thinning hair. Look at my eyes.
You're not so very old.
I didn't say I was so very old. I merely said, look at me. As a matter of fact, I'm only 45.
What's 45?
Too old for 24.
You mean you don't love me?
I don't mean any such thing.
Do you love me?
Of course I love you.
Say it. Do you? Say it.
I love you, Daphne.
Oh, darling.
But this is goodbye.
Goodbye.
It's inevitable, not for my sake, my dear, but for yours. Listen, my dear, you're not in love with me, the real me. You're in love with an illusion, the illusion that I give you when you see me on the stage. All I dare hope for now are moments, like last night. That's why I'm so lonely sometimes, so desperately lonely. But I have learned one bitter lesson in my life. And that lesson is to be able to say goodbye.
Gary!
Let me go on, my dear.
But I really don't see why.
We meet not as we parted. We feel more than all may see. My bosom is heavy-hearted, and thine full of doubt for me. One moment has bound the free. That moment is gone forever, like lightning that flashed and died. Like a snowflake upon the river, like a sunbeam upon the tide, which the dark shadows hide.
But Gary!
Please be quiet, my dear. That moment from time was singled as the first of a life of pain. The cup of its joy was mingled, delusion, too sweet, though vain, too sweet to be mine again. There now. That was Shelley. Don't you think that's beautiful?
Oh, yes.
There was nothing that Shelley didn't know about love, not a thing. All the sadness, all the joy, all the unbearable pain.
You said last night that I was the one you've been searching for always, and that now that you've found me, you'd never let me go.
And that's perfectly true. I never shall let you go. You will be here in my heart forever.
Oh, Gary!
Oh, please, please, don't cry. I can't bear it.
How can you say I'm only in love with an illusion and not the real you at all?
Because it's true.
It isn't. It isn't. It was the real you last night. You weren't on the stage. You weren't acting.
I'm always acting, watching myself go by. That's what's so horrible. I see myself eating, drinking, loving, suffering. Sometimes I think I'm going mad. Mad.
I could help you if only you'd let me.
What, dear?
I could help you if only you'd let me.
Oh, if only you could. But it's too late.
Oh, it isn't. I swear it isn't. You see, I'll prove it to you.
You must get out of the tiresome habit of contradicting everything I say. It is too late. Listen, my dear. It's not that I don't love you. I do. I knew it the first moment I took you in my arms last night. But you see, I am not free like other men to take happiness when it comes to them. I belong to the public and to my work. In 2 weeks' time, I'm going on a tour of Africa in a repertory of 6 plays. Now, do you realize what that means? The work, the drudgery, the nerve strain. But that is my job. The one thing to which I must be faithful. When I come back, if I come back, I shall look at you again, and I shall know at the first glance whether you have waited for me or not. Now, come here, kiss me once, just once, and then go.
Oh, Gary.
Au revoir, my sweet, not goodbye, just au revoir. Come, come, away with melancholy.
Do you want your coffee in here or upstairs?
Anywhere, Fred, put it anywhere within reason.
I'd have brought it in sooner, but I heard all the weeping and wailing going on, and I thought perhaps I'd better wait.
Put it down, Fred, and go away.
Rightio.
And do stop that whistling, Fred. It's like living in Waterloo Station. Who turned that telephone through? I wish I was dead.
I switched the telephone through to here because we've got the mail to do and I can't keep darting in and out of the office all the time. Hello. Mr. Essendine's secretary speaking. No, I'm afraid he's not available at the moment. Is there anything I can do? I really think it would be better if you wrote. Not at all. Goodbye.
Who was that?
Mr. Bramble.
Never heard of it.
He said you promised to look at his invention.
What sort of an invention?
I haven't the vaguest idea.
Very curious. Might be something quite disgusting, mightn't it?
Fred said I was to go and speak to the young lady.
Very well, Miss Erickson.
What shall I say to her?
I really don't know.
I have been to the grocer's.
Well, that's as good an opening gambit as any.
Just see that she has everything she wants, Miss Erickson, and turn on a bath for her.
Alas, no. That I cannot do. The tap makes no water.
Well, rise above the whole situation, Miss Erickson. Do the best you can.
I will try.
And preserve that spirit of cheerful optimism.
There's not much this morning, so I'll go through them quickly.
This coffee tastes of curry powder.
Never mind.
I do mind. I wish I had a French chef instead of a Scandinavian spiritualist.
You could never get rid of Miss Erickson. She worships you.
Everybody worships me. It's nauseating.
There's hell to pay if they don't.
What's that blue letter?
Sylvia Laurie, she says she must see you before you go away.
She can't.
And another from Lady Worrell. Lunch on Tuesday, dinner on Friday.
Neither.
And this one I really think you ought to read for yourself. It's from that young man you forced to go to the Slade School. He's very unhappy.
I didn't force him. He asked my opinion. I gave it to him.
Well, he says that he's hedged in by obsolete conventions, his inspiration's withered, and that it's all your fault.
He's a bloody fool. Put it into Mount Pleasant.
You'll have to go through Mount Pleasant before you go away. It's overflowing. Now, here's a postcard I can't make head or tail of.
It's from Brazil.
I know. It says so on the stamp.
I've done what you said, and it's nearly finished. Can't read the signature. It looks like Pickett.
Can you remember anyone called Pickett whom you sent to Brazil to finish something?
Tear it up, Monica. People should write legibly or not at all.
Not at all. Would be lovely. Hello, Mr. Essendine, secretary speaking. Tony.
Oh, I want to speak to him.
Yes, all right. Hold on a minute. He's right here. Wants to know what you thought of the play last night.
I'll tell him. Good morning, Tony. Thank you so much for the seats. They were most comfortable. No, Tony, no. Frankly, no. Now tell me, in a few brief phrases, what on earth persuaded you to coax poor old Laura out of her merciful retirement? Yeah, I know she has a certain attack. She also happens to be one of the few actresses living who can be dressed by Schiaparelli and look as if she'd been upholstered by maples. Medieval, my foot, they look like bananas. No, I haven't read the notices, I never do. Ah, well, it's insufferable. If they think that ramping and roaring is good acting, I'm thankful I'm going to Africa. All right, Tony, come round about 6. Liz will be here. She gets back from Paris today.
Is Miss Stillington dressed yet?
Yes, but she is crying, which makes her slow. The bath was on the blink.
What? No, all right, Tony, bring her if you must. Oh, no. It's not that we don't like her. We merely find her repellent. Well, it does seem strange that with so many attractive women in the world, you should choose one with a bristling cavalry moustache. We shall be amiable, but remote. Press on, dear boy, press on.
You'd better get upstairs, Gary.
Yes, come up. We can do the rest of the letters when I'm in the bar.
There are only 2 more. An invitation from Gertrude Lovett. She's giving a coming-out dance for that pimply-looking daughter of hers.
What a horrible thought.
And another rather complicated letter from some Boy Scouts.
Good God.
Apparently you're the patron of their dramatic club, which I must say I'd completely forgotten. They're giving a performance of Laughter in Heaven, and they want you to send them a message.
Very well, send them one.
Well, what shall I say?
Monica, dear, what did you say to the Boy Scouts when you were in the Girl Guides?
Be prepared. Hello, Mr. Essendine, secretary speaking. Henry. Yes, he is, but he's in the bar. What, today? I thought you weren't going to Brussels till the end of the week. All right, he's not lunching till past. Yes, I'll tell him. Bye. Hello, Miss Erickson. Is everybody in?
Yes, I think so.
Good morning, Monica, dear.
Liz, darling, we thought you weren't coming back until tonight.
I came over on the ferry, loaded with gifts like an Eastern potentate. There's one for you.
Oh, how lovely.
Bottle of scent and very expensive.
Thank you, Liz. You are a darling.
What's God up to?
He's in the bar.
I brought him a dressing gown.
Oh, how thoughtful. He's only got 18.
Don't be acid, Monica. You know he loves peacocking about in something new. It's nice and thin, highly suitable for Africa. Miss Erickson looked more peculiar than ever this morning. Is her spiritualism getting worse?
Got in touch with a dead friend at a seance on Sunday. And all he could say was no, and Christmas Day. It upset her very much.
Well, I do hope she doesn't get any dottier and do something awful.
I don't think she will. Hers is quite a tranquil magic. Oh, this damn thing never stops. Hello, Mr. Essendine. Morris. Yes, but he's in the bath. Liz is here, if you'd like a word. Yes, she's just arrived. Here, Liz, it's Morris.
Thank you, darling. Morning, dear. No, on the ferry. Yes, I saw the play twice. We shall have to alter the end for England, but I talked to Valiant. He didn't seem to mind what happened as long as Gary played it. Yes, I told him your idea about Janet playing Eloise. He said although he knew she was a formidable actress, he'd rather have someone who looked less like a guinea pig. Cochon d'Inde. Yes, dear, pig of India. Oh, he's a very sweet little man. I adore him. Oh, no, darling, no, I can't. I'm lunching with poor Violet. I'll come to the office directly afterwards, if you like. Yes, I'll get rid of her. You needn't be frightened. All right.
Oh, Liz, this looks absolutely marvellous. I shan't open it until I get home.
Hello, Fred. How's everything?
Oh, bit of a lash up, miss. Same as usual.
Think I can have a cup of coffee? I feel a sinking.
Rightio, miss.
It's very resolute of Fred to go on calling me miss, isn't it?
I think he has some sort of idea that when you gave up being Gary's wife, you automatically reverted to maidenhood.
It's a very pretty thought.
Oh, Miss Stillington, I'm so sorry about the bath.
Didn't matter a bit.
This is Mrs. Essendine, Miss Stillington. How do you do?
Mrs. Essendine, are you Gary's wife?
Yes.
I thought you were divorced.
We never quite got round to it.
Oh.
Oh, well, please don't look so agitated. I upped and left him years ago.
Miss Stillington unfortunately lost her latchkey last night, so she had to spend the night in the spare room.
Oh, you poor dear. You must be absolutely congealed.
Do you think I could get a taxi?
I'll ring up for one.
No, don't do that. My car's downstairs. It can take you wherever you want to go.
That's most awfully kind of you.
Not at all. The chauffeur's got bright red hair, and his name is Frobisher. You can't miss him.
Thank you so much. You're sure it's not inconvenient?
No, not in the least. Just tell him to come straight back here after he's dropped you.
Yes, of course I will. Thank you so much again.
Not at all.
Goodbye.
I'll see you out.
Eleni, please don't trouble.
No trouble at all.
Goodbye.
Do you want anything with it, miss?
No, thanks, Fred. Just the coffee.
Rightio. I'll go and tell his nibs you're here. I don't think he knows yet.
Thanks, Fred. Has that been going on long, or is it new?
Quite new. I found it wandering about in Gary's pyjamas.
She seems to be what's known as a lady. It's all rather odd, isn't it?
That type's particularly idiotic, and the woods are full of them. They go shambling around London without hats and making asses of themselves.
Very discouraging.
I wouldn't mind if only they'd leave Gary alone. It makes the morning so complicated. I do think it's time that we all went for him again, if only out of consideration for Africa.
I'll have a go at him. After all, it's high time he's starting to relax.
You think a big scene is really necessary? I'll get Henry and Morris too, and then we can have a real rouser the evening before he goes away. It's generally more effective when we all do it together.
No, Morris is awfully hysterical these days. Henry's not nearly so reliable since he married Joanna.
Do you like her? Joanna?
She's a lovely creature, but tricky. Yes, I think I like her all right.
I don't.
You never would, darling. She's not your cup of tea at all.
Who is it?
Joanna.
Oh, she's not bad. A bit predatory, perhaps. Then as far as I can see, everybody's predatory in one way or another.
I shall give it up for Lent.
Good morning, darling. Where's my present?
On the piano.
It's not another glass horse, is it, to go with Lord Baldwin?
No, it's a dressing gown for Africa.
Dressing gown, I could just... It's absolutely charming. And I'm mad about it. Now, nobody say anything important for 5 minutes. Yes. It's so beautifully austere. Impeccable taste. The best possible colonial propaganda.
Henry Rand is going to Brussels today.
Wants to see you before he goes.
If these shoulders were only mine.
And I think Morris is coming too. Go Go away then, Monica. I must talk to Gary before Morris gets here. It's important.
Well, you better hurry up, because Mr. Maule is expected at any minute.
Who is Mr. Moore?
You know perfectly well who he is. He's that young man who wrote that mad play half in verse and caught you on the telephone. You were so busy being attractive and unspoiled by your great success that you promised him an appointment.
Monica, dear, it is your pride and pleasure to protect me from things like that. I cannot possibly see him.
You must see him. He's coming all the way from Uckfield. And it serves you right for snatching the telephone when I wasn't looking.
I've noticed a great change in you lately, Monica, dear. I don't know if it's because you've given up cramming yourself with potatoes or what it is, but you are getting nastier and nastier with every day that passes. Go away.
I'm going.
Who gave you that?
Liz.
Nuit d'amour. Most unsuitable.
I'll be in the office if you want me, Gary.
Of course you'll be in the office spinning nasty little plots and intrigues against me, I shouldn't wonder.
I will if I can think
Go
of it.
away, go away, go
and
away.
do try and persuade him to have some electric treatment on his hair, Liz. It's getting terribly thin.
And turn off the telephone.
All right.
Now, darling, tell me all about everything.
I saw the play.
Oh, yes, good.
Yes, very. We'll have to change it a bit. But Vallion's quite willing to let us do what we like. I don't want to go on about it now until I've mulled it over a little more. I'm seeing Morris after lunch.
Yes, I've told him I can't possibly open until November. I must have a holiday after Africa, so there's lots of time.
Now I want to talk to you about something else.
I don't like that tone at all. What's on your mind?
Your general behaviour.
Oh, really, Liz, what have I done now?
Don't you think it's time you started to relax?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Who was that poor little creature I saw here this morning? In evening dress.
She lost her latchkey.
They often do,
Now, listen,
and in my humble opinion, all this casual scampering about is rather undignified.
Scampering, indeed. You have a genius for putting things unpleasantly.
Oh, don't misunderstand me. I'm not taking a moral view. Gave that up as hopeless years ago. No, I'm merely basing my little homily on reason, dignity, position, and let's face it, age.
I suppose I can spend all my time in a bath chair.
It would certainly have its compensation.
It's all very fine for you to come roaring back from Paris, where you've been up to, God knows what, start to bully me.
I'm not bullying
Yes,
you.
you are. You're sitting smug as be damned on an awful little cloud, blowing down on you.
Don't bluster.
And who went away and left me a prey to everybody in the first place? Answer me.
I
that.
did, thank
Well, then,
God. Would you like me to have stayed?
certainly not. You drove me
Well,
mad.
then stop shilly-shallying about and pay attention.
This to date is the most irritating morning of my entire life.
Can remember better ones.
Where were we?
Be good, there's a darling. I mean it.
Mean what?
Exactly this. You have reached a moment in life when a little restraint would be becoming. You're no longer the debonair, irresponsible juvenile. You are an eminent man, advancing with every sign of reluctance into middle age.
May God forgive you, dear, for I never should.
Never mind about that. We all know about your irresistible fascination. We've been watching it going on monotonously for 20 years.
I met you for the first time exactly 11 years ago, next August. You were wearing a very silly little hat. You still are.
Oh, will you be serious? Now, your behaviour naturally affects all of us. Morris, Henry, Monica and me. You're responsible for us, we're responsible for
So
you.
you've been discussing all this with Monica and Morris and Henry.
Well, I haven't yet, but I will if I don't see any signs of improvement.
Like me.
You know how you hate it when we all make a concerted pounce?
The thing that astonishes me in life is people's arrogance.
But you're a fine one to talk about
Well, it's
arrogance.
fantastic. Look at you all gossiping in corners, whispering behind your fans, telling me what to do and what not to do. It's downright sauce, that's what it is. 20 years ago, Henry put all his money into The Lost Cavalier. Who played it for 18 months to capacity with extra matinees? I did. Who was it who started his whole career as a producer in that play? Morris did. Who was
I
it
wish
who-
you'd stop asking questions and answering them yourself. It's making me giddy.
Where would you all be without me, I asked myself. Monica, where would Monica be if I hadn't snatched her away from that revolting old aunt of hers and given her a job?
With the revolting old aunt.
Yes. One of the most depressing, melancholy actresses on the English stage. Where would you be if I hadn't forced you to give up acting and start writing?
Open air theatre, Regent's Park.
I even had to marry you to do it.
Yes, and a fine gesture that turned out to be.
I was in love with you for longer than anybody else. You can't grumble.
I never grumbled. I believe in going through any experience, however shattering.
You were adored me. You know you did.
And I still do, darling. You're so chivalrous.
Yes, well, thank you, yes.
Rubbing it in, how dependent we all are on you for every breath we take.
I never said that.
You are just as dependent on us anyhow now. We stop you from being extravagant, from buying houses every 5 minutes. We stopped you in the nick of time from playing Peer Gynt.
I still maintain I would have been magnificent as Peer Gynt.
Above all, we stopped you from overacting.
You have now gone too far. You better go away somewhere.
I've only just come back.
Monica! Monica!
What on earth?
Have you, or have you not, ever seen me overact?
Frequently.
It's a conspiracy.
As a matter of fact, you're overacting now.
I give in. You're all against me. It doesn't matter about me. Oh, no, I'm only the breadwinner. It doesn't matter that I'm wounded and insulted. It doesn't matter that my timorous belief in myself is subtly undermined.
Your belief in yourself is about as timorous as Napoleon.
And look what happened to him. He died. Forsaken and alone on a beastly little island in the middle of the sea.
Islands have that in common.
You're trying to be funny now because you're ashamed. You're ashamed because you know you've hurt me unbearably. I don't suppose any of you would care a fig if I were exiled forever tomorrow. You'd probably be delighted. I think that's why I'm being forced to go to Africa.
You're longing to go and you know
Forced.
it. Oh, darling. Darling, when you're there, behave yourself, for heaven's sake. Now, don't go having affairs with everybody, please. Please. Now, come on. I want you to talk about Morris just for a minute.
What's wrong with Murray? What's wrong?
Well, I'm not sure that anything is really, but I've heard things.
What sort of things?
I think you may have to do a little of your famous finger wagging. It's Joanna.
Joanna?
Apparently Morris is in love with her. I don't know how far it's gone or any of the details, but I do know that if it's true, something has got to be done about it, and at once.
Yes, but Morris and Joanna, he must be mad. Who told you?
Bobby, first of all, when we were driving out from Versailles. Then Louise tackled me about it in Maxine's. You know how she adores Henry.
Does Henry suspect anything?
Oh, I don't think so, but then he wouldn't, would he, until it was shoved under his nose?
Really, it's too tiresome just I'm going away and everything. It could bust up the whole business.
Well, if Henry finds out, it certainly will.
Well, what are we to do?
First of all, I think you better find out from Morris if it's true or not, and if it is, how far it's gone. Then, well, read the riot act and get him away somewhere. Take him to Africa with you, anything.
There's that beastly young man from Uckfield, and here am I trembling like a leaf. I can't see him, I know I...
Well, you've got to if you promise.
My whole life is one long torment, and none of you even done
Now listen, it may not be the young man at all. It might be Morris.
To hell with Morris, to hell with everything.
Oh, don't be so idiotic. You know as well as I do, if there's any truth in this Joanna business, it's going to land us all in the most sordid complications. Probably wreck everything. You have got to find out. And if you don't, I will. I'm seeing him at 2:30.
Well, he won't tell you a thing. He'll just fly into a rage and ask you to mind your own business.
I shall be in until 1:15. Telephone me the moment he's gone.
He won't go. I'm lunching with him. I can't exactly give you a detailed account of his love life on the telephone with him sitting here.
Dial my number by mistake and just say, I'm so sorry, it's the wrong number. Then I'll know.
What will you know?
Well, that everything's all right. But if you say, I'm so terribly sorry it's the wrong number, then I shall know that everything's all wrong and be round in a flash to back you up.
I'm so sorry it's the wrong number. I am so terribly sorry it's the wrong number. Intrigue. My whole life is enmeshed with intrigue.
Have you got that clear? Will you promise to do it?
All right. I'll tell you another fascinating thing about my life if you're interested. Nobody in this house, in any circumstances whatsoever, answers a bell under an hour. Miss Erickson! Fred!
I'm going now, remember. I shall be in until I hear from you. Poor Violet can wait.
Poor Violet never does anything else. Miss Erickson, the front door bell has been pealing incessantly for 28 minutes.
Alas, yes. But there is a woman at the back door with a tiny baby.
What does she want?
I do not know. There was no time to ask her.
Well, most of the silver's gone by now, I expect.
She'd be better advised to settle for some bread and cheese.
Monica! Monica! Monica, there is a woman at the back door with a tiny baby.
What does she want?
What she wants, Monica, dear, can only be accurately ascertained by bloody well asking her.
Mole.
How do you do?
How do you do?
This is my wife, Mr. Moore.
I know you have an appointment with Gary. I wouldn't dream of interrupting, so I'll say goodbye.
Bye.
Remember, Gary, I shall be sitting beside the telephone.
Oh, I'm so sorry, it's the wrong number.
All right.
I am so terribly sorry, it's the wrong number.
All wrong.
Goodbye. Do sit down.
Thank you very much.
Cigarette?
No, thank you.
You don't smoke.
Nope.
Would you care for a drink?
No, thank you.
Tell me, how old are you?
25. Why?
I just wondered.
How old are you?
45. In December, Jupiter, you know, very energetic.
Yes, of course.
So, you've come all the way from Uckfield.
It isn't very far.
I know, but it sort of sounds far, doesn't it?
It's quite near Lewis.
Then there's nothing to worry about, is there?
It's a sweet little thing, but it looks far from well.
What does she want?
My sister.
We haven't got her, have we?
No, she lives 2 doors down in the mews. It was all a mistake.
Oh, Monica, dear, I simply must introduce you. This is my secretary, Mr. Moore.
How do you do?
I have your script in the office if you care to take it away with you.
Thank you very much.
I'll put it into an envelope. Yes.
Do sit down. Now, I must talk to you about your play.
I expect you hated it.
Well, I must admit I did find it a little uneven.
I knew you'd say that.
I'm glad I'm running so true to form.
Well, it really isn't the sort of thing you'd like, is it?
In that case, why on earth did you send it to me?
Just took a chance. I mean, I know you only play rather trashy stuff as a rule. I thought you just might like to get stuck into something deeper.
And what is there about your play, Mr. Moore, that you consider so deep? Apart from the plot, which is completely submerged after the first 4 pages.
Plots aren't important. It's ideas that matter. Look at Chekhov.
Oh, in addition to ideas, I think we might concede Chekhov a certain flimsy sense of psychology, don't you?
You mean my play isn't psychologically accurate?
It isn't very good, you know. Really, it isn't.
I think it's very good indeed.
Yes, well, I can understand that perfectly, but you must admit that my opinion, based on a lifelong experience of the theatre, might be the right one.
The commercial theatre.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
I suppose you'll say that Shakespeare wrote for the commercial theatre. But the only point of doing anything with the drama at all is to make money. All those old arguments. What you don't realise is that the theatre of the future is a theatre of ideas.
Yes, that may be, but you see, at the moment I am concerned with the theatre of the present.
Well, what do you do with it? Every play you appear in is exactly the same. Superficial, frivolous, without the slightest intellectual significance. You have a great following and a strong personality, and all you do is prostitute yourself every night of your life. All you do with your talent is wear dressing gowns and make witty remarks when you might really be helping people, making them think, making them feel.
There can be no two opinions about it. I'm having the most discouraging morning.
If you want to live on in people's memories and go down to posterity as an important man, you better do something about it quickly. There isn't a moment to be lost.
I don't give a hoot about posterity. Why should I worry about what people think of me when I'm dead as a doornail anyway? My worst defect is that I'm too apt to worry about what people think of me when I'm still alive. But I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm changing my methods. And you are my first experiment. Sit down. As a rule, when insufferable young beginners have the impertinence to criticize me, I dismiss the whole thing lightly because I'm embarrassed for them. And I think it not quite fair game to puncture their inflated egos too sharply. But this time, my highbrow young friend, you're going to get it in the neck. To begin with, your play is not a play at all. It's a meaningless jumble of adolescent, pseudo-intellectual poppycock. It bears no relation to the theatre, or to life, or to anything. And you yourself wouldn't be here at this moment if I hadn't been bloody fool enough to pick up that telephone when my secretary wasn't looking. But now that you are here, however, let me tell you this. If you wish to become a playwright, leave the theatre of tomorrow to take care of itself. Go and get yourself a job as a butler in a repertory company, if they'll have you. Learn from the ground up how plays are constructed, what is actable, what is not. Then sit down and write 20 plays, one after another. And if you can succeed in getting the 21st produced for a Sunday night performance, you'll be damned lucky.
I had no idea you were like this. You're wonderful! Please, I'm awfully sorry to think I was impertinent just now. But I'm awfully glad, because if I hadn't been, you would have got angry with me. And if you hadn't got angry with me, then I shouldn't have known what you're really like.
You don't in the least know what I'm really like.
Yes, I do now.
I can't see that it matters anyhow.
It matters to me.
What do you mean?
Do you really want to know?
What are you talking about?
It's rather difficult to explain. Really.
What is rather difficult to explain?
What I feel about you. Please let me explain. You see, I've been rather unhappy about you for quite a long time now. You've been a sort of obsession with me. I saw you in your last play 47 times. One week I came every night in the pit because I was up in town trying to pass an exam.
Did you pass it?
No, I didn't.
I'm not surprised.
My father wants me to be a lawyer. Ah, imagine.
Imagine.
What the exam was for, but... Well, actually, I've been studying psychology a great deal lately. Because I felt that somehow I wasn't quite at peace with myself. And then gradually, bit by bit, I came to realize that you signify something to me.
What sort of something?
I don't quite know. Not yet.
You know, that "not yet" is one of the most sinister remarks I've ever heard.
Don't laugh at me, please. I'm always sick if anyone laughs at me.
Forgive me, but you really are the most peculiar young man.
I'm all right now, though. I feel fine.
I'm delighted to hear it.
When can I come and see you again?
I'm afraid you can't. You see, I'm going to Africa.
Would you see me if I came to Africa, too?
I really think you'd be far happier in Uckfield.
I expect you think I'm mad, but no, I'm not a bit, really. I just mind deeply about certain things. I feel much better now, though. I know I shall be able to sublimate you, all right?
Sublimate me?
Yes.
Which I was asked you to go away and start now. You see, I'm expecting my marriage, and I have a great deal of business to
Well, all right,
discuss.
I'm going.
Shall I get you your script?
No. Tear it out. You were quite right about it. It was only written with part of myself. I see that now. Goodbye.
If that young man ever rings up again, get rid of him at all costs. He's as mad as a hatter.
What did he do?
He began by insulting me and finished by sublimating me.
Poor dear, you look quite shattered.
I am.
Have a glass of sherry.
Those are the first kind words I've heard all morning.
I think I'll have one too.
That'll be Morris. What time do you make it?
20 to 1. I'll let him in.
Thank you.
What a strange young man sitting on the stairs.
What's he doing?
Crying.
What have you been up to, Gary?
I haven't been up to anything. I merely told him what I thought of his play.
Well, I'm glad to see you haven't lost your touch.
Sherry, Morris?
Oh, thanks.
Henry?
Is it the same sherry you always have?
Yes.
No, thanks.
What's wrong with it?
Nothing much. It's just not very nice.
You should never have joined the Athenaeum Club, Henry. It was a disaster.
Well, I really don't see why.
It's made you pompous.
Well, it can't have. I've always been too frightened to go into it.
Well, Henry's quite right about the sherry. It's disgusting.
If anybody else complains about anything, I shall go out of my mind. This studio's been like a wailing wall all morning.
Well, Lizzie's back.
Oh, Liz is back. Oh, Morris, thank you so much for telling me. I I really must try to get in touch with her.
And what's the matter with the old boy, Monica? He seems remarkably crotchety.
Well, Liz went for him a bit. And then I told him that he overacted. He really has had rather a beastly time of it. And then that dotty young man on top of everything.
Never mind, Gary. God's in his heaven and all's right with the world. I got some lovely bad news for you.
What?
Nora Fenwick can't come to Africa.
Why not?
She's broken her leg.
Well, really?
Yes, well, it isn't actually terribly important.
Oh, no, it couldn't matter less. It merely means that I've got to spend the entire voyage out rehearsing a new woman into 6 different character parts. How did the silly bitch do it?
She fell down at Victoria Station.
She had no right to be in Victoria Station. Well, who can we get?
Well, Morris wants Beryl Willard, but I don't think she's quite right.
Morris wants who?
Beryl Willard.
So Morris wants Beryl Willard, does he?
But why not? She's extremely competent.
I agree, I quite agree. Beryl Willard is extremely competent. Beryl Willard has been extremely competent, man and boy, for 40 years. I'll tell you what I'll do. No prayer, no bribe, no threat, no power, human or divine, will induce me to go to Africa with Beryl Willard. I wouldn't go as far as Wimbledon with Beryl Willard.
What he's trying to say is that he doesn't care for Beryl Willard.
All right, she's out. Whom do you suggest?
Just a minute. If you're going to start one of those casting arguments, I'm going. I've got to catch a plane to Brussels. I just want to let you know that you can't have the St. James's for the French play in the autumn.
Why not?
Because Robert's got it for the whole season, starting in September.
Why did you let him? You knew I wanted it.
Yes, but the Majestic Theatre is very much nicer, and the capacity's bigger.
The Majestic. You've both of you been trying to get me into that underheated morgue for years.
It's been done up and redecorated.
It'll have to be rebuilt brick by brick before I set foot in it.
Arrange it later, will you, Morris? He's obviously in one of his states this morning. I can't stop now.
And what are you going to Brussels for anyway?
Business. Nice, ordinary, straightforward business. Nothing to do with the theatre at all. I can't wait to get there. Well, goodbye, sweetie. Try to be a little more amiable when I come back. Goodbye, Monica. Goodbye, Morris. Oh, Morris, by the way, you might ring up Joanna. She's all alone.
Yes, I have. I'm taking her to the opening at His Majesty's tomorrow night.
Oh, fine. Goodbye.
Do you want me anymore, Gary?
Why? What are you going to do?
I'm going to write to Beryl Willard and ask her to come and live with you.
So, you're taking Joanna to the opening at His Majesty's tomorrow, are you?
Yes. Why?
Why not? Why not, indeed?
What on earth do you mean?
I think I'll come too.
All right, that'll be grand. I've got a box. There's lots of room.
Ah, Morris.
What the devil's the matter?
You like Joanna, don't you?
Of course I do. She's a darling.
Well, I wouldn't describe her as a darling exactly, but I don't see very much of her. I gather that you do.
Now, what are you getting at?
People are beginning to talk, Morris.
What about?
About you and Joanna.
Rubbish.
It's true and you know it.
I know nothing of the sort.
Are you in love with her?
In love with Joanna? Of course I'm not.
Are you preparing to be? I can usually tell if you're about to embark upon one of your emotional rampages.
Well, I like that, I must say. What about you?
Never mind about me. Have you or have you not had an affair with Joanna?
I'm damned if I'll be cross-questioned.
Have you or haven't you?
Mind your own business.
Well, damn it, if this isn't my business, I don't know what is. If you're fooling around with Joanna on the side and Henry finds out, do you realize what that'll mean?
I refuse to go on with this conversation.
You can refuse until you're blue in the face. You're going to listen.
I have no intention of submitting to one of your famous finger-wagging tirades. I'm sick to death.
Now, Morris, many years ago, before you were so heartless again, you have to admit they helped you considerably.
Well, of course I admit it, but so what?
Well, now look, you and I have never lied to each other about anything vital to us, have we?
No.
And it would be rather foolish, after all these years, to start lying now, wouldn't it?
Well, all right, but nobody has, as far as I can see.
But I would like to make you see one thing clearly, Morris, and it's this. You, Henry, Monica, Liz, and I share something of inestimable importance to all of us. And that something is mutual respect and trust. Now, here we are, 5 people, closely woven together by affection, work, and intimate knowledge of each other. It's too important to set up to risk breaking for any outside emotional reason whatsoever. Now, Joanna is alien to us. She doesn't really belong to us. Never could. But don't you believe for 1 minute that Joanna isn't a potential danger. She is. If she could succeed in wreaking havoc among all of us, I am quite certain she would leave no stone unturned. So all I implore you, Morris, is this. Be careful.
Really,
no,
I have no intention.
don't say anything now, but please, please, be careful. Is that clear?
Quite. I think I'll have a little more sherry.
I think I will too. It's delicious. Good heavens, it's after 1. I haven't telephoned for a table.
Well, there's no need. We can always go upstairs.
Oh, no. Upstairs smells of potted shrimps. I'm so sorry. Hello? Yes. I am so sorry. It's the wrong number. Yes. So you're...
I'm off now. Have you got everything you want?
You're looking very dressy, Fred. Where are you off to?
To Garney's.
Where's that?
Tottenham Court Road.
Is it a nightclub, dance hall, or what?
Well, it's a bit of all sorts, really. Doris works there.
What does she do?
She sings a couple of numbers and does a dance with a skipping rope.
Yeah. Very enjoyable.
Well, I think it's a bit wet myself. Still, it goes down all right.
Are you going to marry Doris, Fred?
Me? Marry? What an hope.
You really are dreadfully immoral, Fred.
That's right.
I know for a fact that you've been what is known as taking advantages of Doris for, 2 years now?
Well, why not? She likes it, I like it, and a good time's had by all.
Yes, but don't you mind about her at all? I mean, do you think about her when she's not there?
She always is there, when I want her.
But what will she do when we're in Africa?
Oh, she'll manage. She's got a couple of blokes running round after her now. Quite posh, one of them is. In the silk business.
Oh, I see. She's communal.
Oh, yeah. Will you ring as usual in the morning, or do you want to be called?
No, I'll ring, Fred. Has Miss Erickson gone?
Oh, yeah, she left early. She had to come over about 6 o'clock and opt it. She's gone to her friend in Hammersmith. They turn out all the lights, play the gramophone and talk to an Indian.
Well, if it amuses them and pleases the Indian, I suppose it's all right.
She's a good worker, you know, even if she is a bit scatty. And you can't have everything, can you?
No, Fred, you most certainly can't.
Will that be all?
Yes, thank you, Fred. Well, off you go, Fred. Enjoy yourself.
And the same to you. Be good.
Hello. Who done speaking? Oh, Liz. No, I'm sorry, darling. I've been in about half an hour. Yes, quite alone. I'm turning over a new leaf, haven't you heard? Yes, last night, with both of them. Then we had supper at the Savoy afterwards, and Morris and I drove her home. No, I didn't mention it again. I thought it wiser not. You sound a little skeptical. Oh, no. She was very charming, as a matter of fact. She's quite intelligent, you know. And I must say, she's a permanent pleasure to the eye. All right, darling. I'll see you in the morning. No, I'm going straight to bed. With a book. Yes, sir. And the same to you. Good night. Joanna!
I can't tell you how relieved I am that you're in. I've done the most idiotic thing.
Why? Whatever's happened?
I've forgotten my latchkey.
Oh, Joanna.
Oh, don't look at me like that. I'm not in the least inefficient as a rule. This is the first time I've ever done such a thing in my life. I'm in an absolute fury. I had to dress in the most awful rush to dine with Frida and go to the Toscanini concert, and I left it in my other bag.
And I suppose the servants all sleep at the top of the house.
They do more than sleep. They apparently go off into a coma. I've been battering on the door for nearly half an hour.
Would you care for a drink?
Very much indeed. I'm exhausted.
We must decide what is best to be done.
I went to a call box and rang up Liz, but she must be out because there wasn't a reply.
You rang up Liz, and there wasn't a reply.
As I hadn't any more coppers and the taxi man hadn't either, I came straight here.
Cigarette?
Thank you. You're looking very whimsical, don't you believe me?
Of course I believe you. Why on earth shouldn't I?
I don't know. You always look at me as though you didn't trust me an inch. It's a shame, you know, because I'm so nice, really.
I'm sure you are, Joanna.
I know that voice, Gary. You've used it in every play you've ever been in.
Complete naturalness on the stage is my strong suit.
You've never really liked me, have you?
No, not particularly.
I wonder why.
I've always found you rather tiresome.
In what way, tiresome?
No, I don't know. There's a certain arrogance about you, a little too much self-assurance.
You don't care for competition, I see.
You're lovely looking, of course. I always thought that.
Thank you.
If perhaps too aware of it.
You're being conventionally odious, but somehow it doesn't quite ring true. But then you never do quite ring true, do you? I expect it's because you're an actor. They're always inclined to be a bit papier-mâché.
Puppets, Joanna dear, just creatures of tinsel and sawdust. How clever of you to have noticed.
I wish you'd stop being suave just for a moment.
What would you like me to do? Fly into a tantrum? Burst into tears?
I think I should like you to be kind.
Kind?
Yes, at least kind enough to make an effort to overcome your perfectly obvious prejudice against me.
I'm sorry it's so obvious.
I'm not quite an idiot, though I must say you always treat me as if I were. I know you resented my marrying Henry, you all did, and I entirely see why you should have anyhow at first. But after all, that was 5 years ago. During that time, I've done my best not to obtrude, not to encroach on any special preserves. But my reward has been rather meager from you particularly. Nothing but artificial politeness and a slightly frigid tolerance.
Poor, poor Joanna.
I see my appeal has fallen on stony ground. I'm so sorry.
Now, what are you up to?
I'm not up to anything.
Then sit down again.
I think I should like you to call me a taxi.
Nonsense. There's nothing you'd hate more. You came here with a purpose, didn't you?
Of course I did. I lost my latchkey. I knew you had a spare room, and...
Well,
I wanted to get to know you a little better.
I see.
No, you don't. I know exactly what you think, and I can't altogether blame you. In your position as one of the world's most famous romantic comedians, it's only natural you should imagine every woman is anxious to hurl herself at your head. I'm sure, for instance, you don't believe for one moment that I lost my latchkey.
You're good. My God, you're good.
What's the number of the taxi rank? I'll ring up myself.
Sloan 2664.
Hello, is that Sloan 2664? Oh, I'm so sorry, it's the wrong number. What are you laughing at?
If only you knew.
You're enjoying yourself enormously, aren't you?
You win.
Give me back the phone, it looks so infuriating.
Have another drink.
No, thank you.
Just one more cigarette.
No.
Oh, please, I'm sorry.
I wish you were really sorry.
Who knows? Perhaps I am.
I could cry now very effectively, if only I had the technique.
Technique certainly is very important.
Oh dear.
Conversation seems to have come to a standstill.
I think perhaps I would like another little drink after all. Just a very small one. You make me feel extraordinarily self-conscious. That's one of your most renowned gifts, isn't it? Frightening people.
Surely you're not going to say that I frighten you.
You terrify Frida Lawson out of her life. She told me so the other day.
I can't think why. I scarcely know her.
It's personality, I expect, plus your reputation for being, well, rather ruthless.
Amorously or socially?
Both?
How are we doing?
Better, I think.
That's a very pretty dress.
I wore it for Toscanini.
He frightens people too, you know. When they play wrong notes.
You look strangely young. Every now and then. It would be nice to know what you're really like under all the trappings.
Just a simple boy, stinking with idealism.
Sentimental, too, almost Victorian at moments.
I spent hours at my sampler.
Are you happy on the whole?
Ecstatically.
You never get tired of fixing people's lives, of being a boss, of everybody adoring you and obeying you?
Never, never. I revel in it.
I suspected that you did, but I wasn't quite sure.
Would you like me to play you something?
No, thank you.
Why ever not? You must be mad.
Not mad, just musical.
Snappy, too. Quite rude, in fact.
Yes, that was rather rude, wasn't it? I'm sorry.
What shall we do now?
Do? you? Is there any necessity to do anything?
Well, my social sense tells me that something is required of me. But for the life of me, I can't think what it is. That's why I suggested playing the piano.
There's always the radio.
Not here, there isn't.
I'm so glad I'm adult. You must be pretty shattering to the young and inexperienced.
Is that a subtle allusion to my charm?
You glitter so brightly. You're so gaily caparisoned. All the little bells tinkling.
I sound like a circus horse.
You are rather like a circus horse, as a matter of fact, prancing into the ring to be admired, jumping with such assurance through all the paper hoops.
Oh, really, Johnny, you must make up your mind. All this provocative skirmishing is getting me down. What do you want?
I want you to be what I believe you really are. Friendly and genuine, someone to be trusted. I want you to do me the honor of stopping your eternal performance for a little. Ring down the curtain, take off your makeup, and relax.
Everyone keeps telling me to relax.
One can hardly blame you.
Shouldn't I be very vulnerable? Dear Delilah, shorn of my nice silky hair.
Why are you so afraid of being vulnerable? Wouldn't it be rather a relief? To be perpetually on guard must be terribly tiring.
I was right about you from the first.
Were you?
Yes, you're as predatory as hell.
Gary!
You got poor wretched Henry when he was convalescent. You made a dead set at Morris, and now, my God, you're after me, and don't deny it. I can see it in your eye. You suddenly appear out of the night, reeking with the lust of conquest. The whole atmosphere's quivering with it. You've had your hair done today, haven't you? And your nails. Probably your feet, too. That's a new dress, those are new shoes, and your mind, even more expertly groomed to vanquish than your body. Every word, every phrase, every change of mood, cunningly planned. Just the right mixture of sex antagonism mixed with subtle flattery. Just the right switch over, perfectly timed, between provocative implication and wistful diffidence. You want to know what I'm really like, do you? Under all the glittering veneer? Well, this is it. This is what I'm really like. Fundamentally honest. When I'm driven into a corner, I tell the truth. And the truth at the moment is that I know you, Joanna. I know what you're after. I can see through every trick. Go away and leave me alone.
Curtain!
Damn, there's no more soda.
Take it neat, darling.
How dare you call me darling?
I think you are a darling. I always have.
Please go away immediately.
You're really the reason I married Henry.
Are there no depths to which you won't descend?
Absolutely none. I'm in love with you. I've been in love with you for over 7 years now, and it's high time something was done about it.
This is the end.
No, my sweet, only the beginning.
Now listen to me, Joanna.
I think you better listen to me first.
I will do no such thing.
You must. It's terribly important to us all. Please sit down.
I'd rather walk about, if you don't mind.
Sit down, dear sweet Gary. Please sit down. You must concentrate. Things aren't nearly as bad as they look. I've got to explain, and I can't if you're whirling about all the time.
This is dreadful.
First of all, I want you to promise to answer me one question absolutely truthfully, will you?
What is it?
Will you promise?
Yes, very well. Go on.
If you had never seen me in your life before, if we'd met for the first time tonight, if I were in no way concerned with anyone you know, would you have made love to me? Would you have wanted me?
Yes.
Well, that's that. Now,
Well, now look here,
shut
Joe.
up. You must be fair. You must let me explain. When I said just now you were really the reason I married Henry, that was only partly true. I am devoted to Henry. Much fonder of him than he is of me. Oh, he was madly in love with me for the first 2 years, but he isn't now. You stood between us, not only in my heart, but in his. He hated your thinly veiled disapproval of me, and it gradually strangled his love for me. That's the worst of people like you with damn dominant personalities. You not only affect people when they're actually with you, but when they're away from you as well. Henry has been lightly unfaithful to me 11 times, to my certain knowledge, during the last 3 years. He's probably having a high old time in Brussels at this very moment.
You're lying, Joanna.
I'm not lying. I don't mind enough to lie. Henry's a darling him. I wouldn't leave him for anything in the world. We get on perfectly. Much better now than we did before. But you are the one I'm in love with and always have been. I don't want to live with you. God forbid you drive me mad in a week. But you are to me the most charming, infuriating, passionately attractive man I've ever known in all my life.
What about Morris?
Morris? Don't be so idiotic. He was only a step nearer you.
Is he in love with you? Has there been anything between you?
Of course there hasn't. He's very sweet, but he doesn't attract me in the least. Never could.
Do you swear that?
There's no need for me to swear that. You can see, can't you? And even if you can't see, you must at least be able to feel that what I'm saying is true. We're neither of us exactly adolescent. We both know enough by experience that when our instincts are pushing us with all their force in one direction, it's foolish and painful to rush off into another.
Are you so sure it's foolish?
It's the most foolish thing in the world to store up regrets. Who could you and I possibly harm by loving each other for a little?
Please, may I get up now?
Yes.
How was the Toscanini concert?
Glorious. He played the 8th and the 7th.
Personally, I always prefer the 5th.
I like the 9th best of all.
Nothing like the dear old 9th.
I love Covent Garden, don't you? It's so uncompromising.
I love the Albert Hall. Much, much, much more.
I wonder why. I always find it depressing.
Not when they're doing Hiawatha, surely.
Even then.
I won't hear one word against the Albert Hall.